I'm very interested in collective memory, how essentially the same story is told in different ways. 1066 is a really interesting year in English history, and of course it's the date that everyone knows. It was essentially a succession crisis. In early January 1066, Edward the Confessor, the King of England, died. Harold Godwinson claimed the crown. He became king, but he had a lot of contenders to deal with. We often think of 1066 as this clash between the English nation and the French. But England was a complicated place, home to people of Danish heritage, of Flemish heritage, of Norman heritage. Normandy itself was not entirely part of France, it was a separate duchy, and the Normans themselves were descendants of Scandinavian settlers and raiders. So in fact what we have in 1066 is a sort of confrontation between related peoples. When we get to 1066, the issue of family is incredibly important. The whole problem with 1066 is that Edward the Confessor doesn't have children. What happens is you have a struggle within the family that takes control. Harold Godwinson had several brothers, and they did not all agree that Harold was the best one to be king. His brother Tostig was, in fact, quite certain that he would make a very good king of England. Medieval authors look back to the idea of brotherly strife, kin killing, as something which is morally reprehensible, of course, but it's almost on a mythic level. They look back to the stories of Cain and Abel in the Bible, that original killing was a brother killing a brother. And so when you look in 1066 to brothers at war with each other, it's a really useful model or metaphor, a really useful myth for thinking through the political complexities of 1066. Why did a nation that was as rich and as powerful as England fall to the invaders? It's because there was kin strife at the heart of government, at the heart of the royal family. In later sources, when we look at this interest in killing within the family, I think that it's a really interesting way of thinking about the different peoples that come into conflict in 1066. The strife within this blended Anglo-Scandinavian family between Harold and Tostig is a really nice symbol, I think, of what happens, the strife between the peoples of England, the peoples of Scandinavia, the peoples of Normandy, who are in a way brothers, they're cousins, they're related. The idea of 1066 is such a powerful one, so much so that we have references to the Conquest coming up in modern day political discourse. Boris Johnson characterized Theresa May's Brexit deal as like the Conquest of 1066 because it was seen as giving in to Europe, to submitting. Nigel Farage was seen running around in a necktie with the Bayeux Tapestry, this beautiful visual imagining of 1066. That idea of looking back to the medieval past as something simple does a disservice to medieval history and to modern political events. There was no indigenous English or indigenous British person who fought at the Battle of Hastings. That was not the reality, and it shouldn't be used to justify xenophobia or racism in the modern day.